The Washington Nationals are staying alive in the NL East, just ahead of the boys from Queens, the New York Mets. The Orioles are in a battle with the Red Sox in Toronto in the AL East. Will the Nats and Orioles both be still playing baseball in October? I'm Marvin Jackson, and joining me tonight are Mykell Ramos, and she is a host with Flex.
Host of the Flex Zone on Fox Sports 1340 AM Hopewell.
That's right, and that's what I was going to say. Okay. And we also have Alena Neves, and Alena is a great sports personality in the area and does a lot of things. And this is her second time on the show, and we welcome her back.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
All right, and Lou Holder, sports personality in the area. Everybody knows Lou, right?
Yeah.
Lou.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's good or bad.
All right, well, later in the show, we will give our take on the NBA playoffs and share our thoughts on the great Muhammad Ali. But first, let's talk some baseball. And Lou, we'll start out with you.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Nats. Will they be able to hold off the Mets and win the NL East?
I don't know. That's a good question. You know, you got to think now with Dusty Baker there that the team has a little bit more stability than when Matt Williams was there. But after Strasburg and after Scherzer, I'm not convinced of that lineup. I mean, I'm not convinced of that starting rotation, and Jonathan Papelbon scares me. They're going to have to do some trading. You know, that lineup looks good as far as hitting. But then, I mean, that didn't buy them anything last year either. So I don't know. It's not like a clear cut. The Mets, it's not the best team. It's who's playing the best at the end. And the Nats have not shown that to Washington, D.C. the last couple of years, that they're good on paper. But when it comes down to the very end of the year, you know, they're not playing their best baseball. So they're going to have to get an arm. They're going to have to get a right-handed arm because after Gio I don't know what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He scares me every time he comes out there because when he can pitch, he's lights out. But we haven't seen that consistently from him in a while. So you really only need, you mean when it comes to the playoffs, you need kind of three pitchers. You know, you have your Scherzer, you have your Strasburg. Hopefully he stays healthy because they just gave him a ton of money. But then, you know, you have to have a closer, and Papelbon scares me. Yeah, he scares the whole Nats nation. But with Dusty there, I kind of feel like, you know, a calmer Nats fan than I was with Matt Williams. Personality wasn't jiving with the team. You know, Dusty, I mean, he commands instant respect. So this team is playing like their manager, you know, calm, cool, and instant respect. But we still don't know what's going to happen down the end. So I can't really say if they'll outlast the Mets. And I really, and this might be funny to some people, I wouldn't count out the Phillies either. I wouldn't count out the Phillies.
The only thing is I think we play the Phillies, the Nats play the Phillies well. So that probably will help them out. And one thing, you were talking about the starting pitching. The two starters with the lowest earned run average with the Nats are Roark and Ross. Ross is the lowest. You would have thought that it would be Strasburg or Scherzer.
Right.
So, you know, maybe those guys are going to come around a little better later in the season. Yeah. What do you think, Alena?
Well, I mean, I think it is still too early to tell, but I have a lot of faith, though, probably a little bit more than Lou, in the fact that Dusty Baker is so consistent. He's got so much experience, and he's old school, so he's able to really rally up these guys and get them completely focused in a way that I did not see, say, last year with Matt Williams. You understand what I'm saying?
So you don't think that they would fall apart?
No, I don't.
But did we think that the Caps would fall apart either?
I kind of did.
You did.
To be honest,
really, with the best goaltender, in the league, andAlex Ovechkin
or something.
Okay,
I don't know.
all right.
I don't know.
But their coach doesn't really. I mean, I've not seen him go past, you know,
So
the playoffs when he was at another team.
Your thoughts on the Nats, the O's?
I mean, what I've gotten across the board here is consistency. And I think consistency is a word that we use quite often in the nation's capital, period. You guys bring up the Capitals, we can roll right into the Redskins too. Just hold on, just hold on. I just need you to on that thin line to get where I need you to get, and hopefully it works out for the better of us. And I got on my knees and prayed. It's not a question. I mean, you give Bryce Harper all that money, give it to him, do what you got to do to keep him here. But at the same time, it's a matter of going through the hard times. And I don't think that's what we've seen of the Nats in the past, and that's not what we've seen of the Nats. We're trying to see them now. It would be nice to see both sides of 95 actually clicking the correct way and the right way, like we know that they have a chance to and should be. I mean, let's be real. The Orioles were 2 years ago, made the playoffs. And look at the Nats. They were a team on the rise. They were a young team to look out for. So those things aren't mistakes. It's just a matter of making those mistakes more of a reality, more of those things to make people understand that you're here to stay and that you're accepted. But hey, it is what it is.
The Nats have the MVP so far, right? And Daniel Murphy, who came from the Mets. That was the biggest move of the year, is to bring him here.
But did you hear what, there was word that there was a hitting coach at the Mets that basically tweaked his hitting. And now he's just like lights out.
That's amazing, right?
You didn't hear that? Yeah, something happened. I don't know. Some hitting coach at the Mets kind of tweaked his hitting, and now I think the Nationals are on the receiving end of that.
The thing that I see him doing more this year is going to all fields. I mean, he's using it,
He is. I mean, his batting average.
Left field, he's hitting the left, center, and right. Whereas last year he was just trying to jerk the ball out of the park.
Yeah, he is in a lineup very similar to what Jason Worth was in Philadelphia. He's got protection on either side of him, so he is in a perfect lineup that he's able to skip pitches. He's able to do what he needs to do because he's, when Worth, was surrounded by Chase Utley and Ryan Howard, he was able to have a season so worthy that the Nats just rolled out a whole bunch of money for him, right? That's what Murphy's seeing. He's in a perfect lineup for him, and he's just flourishing because he's getting to see a lot of pitches because he's got Harper on one side of him, he's got other people on the other side. I mean, he's in a spot in a lineup that's really, really advantageous for him.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we've got the Chicago Cubs that are just playing lights out. Yeah. Their starting pitchers have a combined ERA of 2.33, and that's the lowest in the live ball era. So, if the Nats get there, can they beat the Cubs and get to the World Series? That's another question. But let's take a break right here, and when we return, we're going to take a look at the NBA playoffs. And later, we remember Muhammad Ali. Back in a moment, everybody.